almost here, and to help us prepare, we welcome back the wine guy, Gary Grunner. Always a pleasure. You have such great suggestions.
No, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this, and this is an interesting subject because when you talk kosher wines, you know, we were just in Washington, D.C. last week, and we were at the Smithsonian. They did a whole thing on old airds, and I saw this poster for Levi's bread, and it said, "You don't have to be Jewish to enjoy Levi's bread." And that's kind of the same thing with kosher wine. You don't have to be Jewish to enjoy kosher wine. The wines are produced from all over the world, and you really have some amazing, amazing producers. We have Terra Vega, you know, if you look at this right here, this Cabernet, you know, this is from Chile. We have a beautiful Malbec from Argentina. We have a delicious Chianti from Italy, a Moscato, which is sold all over the country, a nice Bordeaux, and then a really delicious Sauvignon Blanc. So these are wines that if they were mixed into the non-kosher section, which they are in a lot of places, you really wouldn't know the difference from the packaging, and the winemaking is really great. Great winemakers.
It's a kosher wine because it's prepared a certain way.
It's a kosher wine, so you think about this, sometimes it gets confusing. You think about organic wines, and then there's biodynamic wines, and then there's kosher wines. So there's a pyramid of 3 different or 4 different ways to produce wines. And this just happens to be kosher, happens to be done where organic they feel is more healthier. Biodynamic is kind of interesting and more healthier, or, you know, depends on when you read through it. And kosher is done for dietary reasons.
I understand.
And tradition.
And you can't taste any sort of difference.
No, you can't taste any sort of difference. And anyone tells you that, then you're just, you know, using that as just, you know, I can't drink kosher wine.
Got it.
But you can, and especially, you know, this is the Bordeaux, and
what is that going to match well with?
Well, for dinner this weekend, for the Seder, and the other interesting thing on the Seder, Passover, it's 8 days. 8 days, and the Seders can go a little long if you're traditional, following, you know, 2-3 hours can be a long Seder, and every man and every woman participating at the legal age in the Seder is supposed to drink 4 glasses of wine each that evening.
Oh, there's wine rules with Passover. I didn't realize that.
There's wine rules, and it kind of
Are you making the rules, or they're legitimate?
No, these are legit. These are legitimate rules. I mean, you know, now you're bringing better wines to the Seder. Before it used to be Shapiro's and Manischewitz, which are still good, you know, and they weren't higher in alcohol. So, you know, now you have more robust, more legitimate, you know, wines to bring to the table. So it's really, really exciting.
Sure.
If you look on the back of the label, they'll give you a little idea. You have where it shows kosher, and then it shows kosher with a P next to it, so it means it's kosher for Passover, and some people say kosher for Pesach, and then it says Mabushla. So anything that's here today means that it's kosher for Passover, so you can have a kosher wine, but if it's not kosher for Passover, you can't bring it to the Seder. And what kosher for Passover means that it hasn't touched any grains, bread, or dough, something that, you know, you have to have, you know, you can't, it has to be unleavened, so you don't want it to get touched.
Got it.
Mabushla means, now if you're getting really strict, in the tradition, when they produce the wines, and it has to be somebody who observes all the Jewish religion, you know, observances. Bushla means that what they'll do is they'll do a heat flash. They'll bring the wine up real quickly to heat, they'll cool it down, so they take out all the impurities, and that just means then if you're in a restaurant or a hotel, and it happens to be a kosher restaurant, somebody who's not Jewish can serve the wine, because the belief was they wanted to make sure that when the wines were being produced, that whoever was touching it was somebody who was following the religion.
Right.
They weren't, you know, praying to pig. It's kind of interesting.
How fascinating is that? I would not have known that, Gary.
So just show you this. This is Sauvignon Blanc. We're in New Zealand. I just want you to. So if I poured this in a restaurant and you smelt that, you would know the difference.
No, absolutely not.
You know, and the packaging and everything.
Really nice.
So it's kind of interesting. Everything here is available in Connecticut like usual.
Great.
And that's the most important thing. These wines particularly come from an importer that I've become very, very fond of. It's called Monsieur Touton, and he's very, very, very critical on what he brings in and what he sells, because he likes, you know, things to be true to character.
Absolutely. Okay.
So nice selections for Passover, and decent Pesach, and hope everyone has a
And
good.
we're also going to check out @Grunner on Wine on Twitter. You always answer questions.
Absolutely.
You're great about that. Thank you so much for the suggestions.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for seeing me, and
all right.
happy holidays to everyone who celebrates.
All right, Ryan, we'll send things over to you.
Thanks, Teresa.